What is up, guys? I'm Doofus Mcdooface streaming, and people have been asking for this tier list probably since I started first playing the game. I'm pretty slow, but this is going to be the units as of 8.06.1. Is the most recent patch with the Gatling gun. For that reason, I actually don't know how to add a thing to this. This is like a template. So I don't know how to add the Gatling gun. So I'm just going to start off with the Gatling gun and the Vulcan Cannon and just imagine I put it up there. I got my stats here. I don't really need it for the Gatling gun and Vulcan Cannon. I think it's a pretty decent unit. It's really high skill level required. Just like the Priestess almost. I would say it's like 90%. Just like a Priestess. It's just Pierce and Fortified as opposed to Magic and Arcane. I personally would like to put it in an A tier, but I think just because of how difficult of a unit it is to use, personally, I'd put it B tier. The Vulcan Cannon is very strong. The Gatling gun is eh. I'm almost undefeated with the Vulcan Cannon, and I'm like 50-50 when I only get the Gatling gun off. So, I'd put it B tier. Just imagine it's right there. Maybe I'll like add it to the end of the picture. I don't know. But that's my first thought. But let's get into the actual units I can place. And this is going to be a crazy tier list. This is just me personally. I'm kind of cuckoo. I don't like the Angler. Okay. I don't like the Angler. I don't like the Bounty Hunter open. I suck at it. Okay. Kingpins. They're pretty good early on. I'm not gonna lie. They're pretty good early on. Even though I just had a game where Four Eyes took it out on 9. Wasn't a great Kingpin there. I'm just not sure it's that good, and for that reason, I'm gonna put it as a C tier. I really don't think Kingpin. I mean, the Bounty Hunter open. It's pretty decent to break it, to be honest. You just send a couple of snails early. If of course you've got steeds with it, that helps. I've seen people butcher with the Kingpin later on, which really isn't that viable. I don't like the Angler. I don't think there's enough need for that to be your Pierce unit, you know. There's just so many other great Pierce units to start with. Never liked the Angler, and I'm gonna stick to it. The Antler. I mean, the Antler, of course, is great because of the white main aura. I never open with it. See some people open with it, and can be a liability on 3 because you think it's so strong. I want to put it in a B tier, and I'm only gonna do a B tier, and it'll probably be like one of my lowest B tier units, because I've been falling in love with Chieftain Cheese lately. You know, the Gargoyle and the Chieftain. You know, Green Devil, and if you get some white main aura on that, it's pretty nice. But I mean, let's look at my stats real quick. The health differentiation between the two is just so massive. Yeah, the Antler has 2350, the white main has 4600. I don't know. I mean, it's a mediocre unit, but if you get the white main aura, then it's worth it. Now, if this was made 2 weeks ago, it'd be like a C. But I have fallen in love with the Aqua Spirit. I am a big believer in the AoE build. If you've got Flower, and you've either got Aquas, or you've got Masks. I was about to put Masks up right now. I can't. I don't see Masks up here. Oh, they're there. I was going to put Mask A, and I probably will put Mask A. But Aqua Spirit, you have so many options early. You can start Fire Elemental, or you can go Flower, and then also the buff to Fire Elemental is really nice lately. Yeah, you go Flower, and then you position your Aqua half a tile down from each other, just above. Flower tanks early. It's one of the best AoEs. Shout out to Dan Wolf. He showed me that one. Works with masks as well. Also, you've got a decent tank for 7 and 8. Like, don't actually fully tank with the Fire Elemental or Rogue Wave. But you could. If you want to tank a little bit 7 and 8, they're arcane tanks. You know? And if you have your split perfect on 8, you don't necessarily need a unit out in front of like a Fire Elemental, because it's going to be able to take quite a few of the Cobras. It's going to be able to eat that up. You know? I mean, it's kind of great when you can have your ranged DPS sort of tank. And I feel like that's what the Aqua can do. There's a lot of units, aren't there? Banana. I suck with it. So many games, I'm at 16 and 17, and I've got the Havens down, and I just get crushed. I get crushed by a massive send. 11 and 12, it's pretty good. And personally, I don't do the Gargoyle into Banana Bunk like a lot of people have. When you open with a T6. Just not a massive fan of the Banana. Not saying it's a bad unit. There's also the possibility of Chieftain Cheese with it. But once again, not great. I think another reason I don't like this unit as much. There's 2 reasons. A, because it's ranged, you've got to put it a couple tiles above your other tanks. So right off the bat, you can't aura it, you know? You can't use like a hero or white mane aura, or even like if you want to do some goofiness with the butcher aura, head chef aura. It's not going to tank. So your great tank on 11 and 12 doesn't get hit for a while. So all your DPS or all your off tanks die. With that in mind, I still think it's a pretty solid unit. I just don't know how to use it that well. Also because I can't split it. Every time I use it, I put it in the middle, and it's a massive error that I've got to work on. I'm only going to put it a B because I know it can be used well. But me personally, I'm like a C- with it. It would be a C for me. But because I have to respect it, I'm going to put it in the B tier. Now Zuka. I actually kind of like the Zook. I do. I don't use it as much as I should. But I think it's a pretty decent unit. A lot of people don't like Pyro. And that's for a good reason. However, I have tried the Pyro open and then doing it the same way as Flower. And to be honest, it works okay. It's not as strong as Flower, of course. But, excuse me. But it's got some viability. If you really want to do the crazy AoE, I've done it in the exact same position where the Pyro acts as the Flower. And then you use Aquas and or Masks. Not all 3. You only need 2. And it works pretty fine. And Zeus's, you know, Zeus with some Starcaller. Zeus with the Mana Legion spell. Steeds. I'm really fighting myself right now whether to put it A or B. I think I've got to put it A. Because I think it's above. I think it's above Antler and Banana Monk. I do. You know? I was hoping to not interrupt my video here. But if you guys watch my videos, you know my dog's crazy. I'm not going to cut that out. Berserker. Fade Lizer on 10 is the best unit in the game. I literally think that the Fadelizer is better than Doppelganger on 10 with like a head chef aura. However, Berserker itself is eh. I mean, it's really good strong. Hear me out. I think if this was through 15 waves, it's S tier. But this is the entirety of the game, and I have also been punished many a time with Fadelizers that they get whomped. They get whomped later on, you know? You think 16 and 17, they're going to save your life, and they don't. But the early viability of that, you know? You think you've got the game won on 10, right? You've been pushing for the 10 send, and then out of nowhere, your opponent drops a Berserker and he clears. Clears like a 200 send. You know? Or he's only got a Berserker, and he shifts for the Fadelizer, and once again, he clears. It's a very strong unit. I'm not in love with it, but I do use it, you know? I mean, I guess I could check my stats, but actually, I think I could pull up my stats. You know what? Let's do it. Let's check my stats real quickly here. I think it's following this. If not, you're whatever. What is my win rate? My win rate is 48% with Berserker, which is eh. But Fadelizer's 49%. So once again, I'm not great with it. I'm not great with it. You guys know that though. But that doesn't mean it's still not a good unit. And then can I just like, is there like an above S tier? There should be an above S tier. Bones are the best unit in the game. I mean, come on. We all know Bones are one of, if not the best unit in the game. It's got to be the best opener. If you play it correctly, you literally can only use Bones through the first 4 or 5 waves, and you can eat pretty much any send. It's just, I'm a Bone Crusher guy. I like to open with the Bone Crusher, then get a Fire Archer, as opposed to the double Bone Crusher or the double Fire Archer. And Dark Mage does have its uses too. I don't use it that much, but every couple of games, I'll keep a couple just extra bones before I reroll, so that I can actually use those little bones for Dark Mages later on. But you guys know how much I love bones. I think we all knew it was going to be my favorite unit in the game. That's all there's to say about it. Make sure you learn how to play bones. I should probably learn the Bone Fire Archer start. Maybe make a video of that one day. Butcher. Butcher's a B unit. It is just so useless without synergies. It's not even funny. It is. If you have no synergy with Butcher, don't choose it. Everybody tells you, and they're right. There's, what, 6 units that you can use, right? Of course, Doppelganger. Of course, Firelord Phoenix. Of course, yeah, so when I say 6, I just mean the upgraded versions. And then, of course, Holy Avenger Sav. Other than that, it's kind of greedy to use Butcher. I'm looking here. If you really want to be greedy, of course you can use it, you know. Like if you're gonna drop a Butcher, make sure they're filled. I'm the type person, I'd rather you just fill it if it's important, you know, as opposed to only filling it for like strong T5, T6 units. I mean, maybe don't use like a Buzz on it, you know, or a Pack Rat. But if it's early game, you don't just want that stupid Butcher just chilling, you know. So optimizing those spots is kind of important, you know. Maybe just optimize the Butcher spots and then head chef the stronger units. So then you've got the head chef and the Butcher buff on both of them. But once again, I think it's just a B just because it's only good with synergies. I don't think it's viable as an opener. I'm not sure if I've actually ever done it, to be honest. Maybe I have. Openings. Trying to flip it. Have I opened? I've opened 6 times with Butcher. Oh wow, sorry, I'm a liar. I'm 4 and 2 with it opening. I'm gonna start opening with it. But that doesn't mean I would recommend it. That's probably when I was a lot lower in the ELO. I don't know. I see people do it and they get away with it. Doesn't mean you should do it, but it can work. I just like it at B. Off to the next. Buzz. I think it's another B tier unit. Not that it really matters, you know. I'm still going to be picky with this. I like the Buzz. I like it behind the white mane here. Just because the consort on 4 is nice. Dropping just a Buzz on 2 for a split is awesome. And honestly, I've heard a lot of people don't like it, but I think a consort on 10, you have a couple consorts on 10, they're decent like off DPS. I think it's fine, you know, as long as you've got like a actual important DPS unit, like a Nightmare or Sky Queen, you know, the actual importance Pierce DPS on 10. I think consort's good though. Of course it falls off. I would not use it past 10. Maybe you drop 1 on like 11 or 12, just because you've got no other like strong Pierce options. Your only other Pierce options are like Disciple, Starcaller, Nightmare Doppelganger, and you just don't have the money for anything else, so you have to drop a consort. But that's about it, you know. After 10, get rid of it. It's not useful. I think I'm just gonna put every unit in the B. I like it. I like Consort more than Oathbreaker, to be honest. I don't like the Oathbreaker open that much. I really don't. I do it from time to time, but I find myself always going 5 workers, and then I leak 2, or I leak 3, and it's because you get greedy, you know. And with that in mind, the recent times that I have Oathbreaker opened, I go to 4 workers. I don't greed it. I see what I'm sent on wave 1, and then I figure out if I get snailed or if I get king upped, then I get that 5th worker. But if not, I need to make sure I have options for wave 2 and wave 3, of course. You know, I need to drop a Warg wave 2 or Willis Shroom / Steed on wave 3. I don't know. And then it's pretty much useless. After like opening, after mid wave 5 maybe, I guess you could use a wave 6. But after that it's useless. Whereas I feel like you know what? I'm about to move this down to C. I'm talking myself out of it. Now that I'm thinking about it, the Chain Fist and Oathbreaker is almost useless past 5. I mean, in what right mind, with the exception of split purposes, and then pulling like a Sky Queen or Boar to the top, just dropping a Chain Fist at the top of the lane? Yeah. I think it's a C unit. I think I've talked myself out of it. I think it's got to be a C unit. Dogs are crazy, man. Oh, computer's dying. You guys tell me what you think. I'm not a fan of the Oathbreaker open. I guess it did open 43 times with it. Wow. You know, I'm 22 and 21. I'm telling you, a lot of these are from the past. I'm telling you, a lot of them are from the past. I don't think it's that great. We've got our next S tier unit. Without a doubt, one of my new favorite units, the DP, the Desert Pilgrim. If you've got a Gargoyle, why would you not Chieftain Cheese it? The Chieftain Cheese and Gargoyle, if done correctly, Don't get me wrong, I've screwed up lately. But I've got to think that my Desert Pilgrim numbers are getting pretty high on the opens. And then okay, here it is. It's actually 50%. So 12 and 12. But I'd like to think that's on the up. You know, I think it's going up. But I pick it a lot. 56% win rate with it, so I don't know. I feel like you open up with a Desert Pilgrim, you get a unit on the split, but you got to be careful about the split. Because the Desert Pilgrim is ranged, you can't have an equal split. It's got to be like that, where the Desert Pilgrim is like one tile above, and then that'll equal it out. That's where I've screwed up a lot. So you've got the heals early, and then you get late game, 11 and later, you're just doing nothing but chieftains, getting that 1500 HP buff to your forwardmost unit. I love it, especially if you're gonna duo lane. This is sort of off topic, but if you ever duo lane in Classic, one of you and your teammates see the chieftain, and then you see like an Arc Terror or Green Devil, an Arc Terror or Gargoyle. Right there, you guys literally just build around that. Easy. It's the most fun thing to do in duo lane. I love it. It's still behind Bone Warrior, but I love the Desert Pilgrim. You know, that's quite a few of my most recent videos are Desert Pilgrim. So, Disciple, Starcaller. I don't want to have too many S tier units. So, and I'm thinking I haven't been choosing it a lot lately. I have not chosen that unit a lot lately. Yeah, see, it's dropped down to 80%, which is still rather high. Don't get me wrong, that's really high choosing rate. However, I think it's probably the best A tier unit, maybe. Yeah. Disciple, you can open with it. You can get hurt on 3 bad. I've been punishing a lot of people that open Disciple, punishing them on 3. So if you fall into that fallacy thinking Disciple is grade 3, this shouldn't be an A for you. This should be like a B or a C if you don't know how to play it correctly. But that Starcaller mana buff is it's insane. You got steeds around that. You got gates around that. Zeus is around it. And then you could even just have straight up Disciple circle. You know, you got your Starcall in the middle, and you've got a ton of Disciples around it. Like, you're good to go. You're solid. It's tough to not put it at S, but I don't think I can. You know, it's gonna be funny if just all pierces right here. Egg. Where am I gonna put it? Had a really good egg game today. Dropped a second egg. That was a good game. I think I almost put it in C. I think it's a B tier unit, you know? It's decent. It's not great. It's just so dependent on a role, you know? It's literally, it's like Butcher. It's so dependent on your role. You can't take it half the time, or maybe more than half the time. I mean, it's probably got to have one of my lowest usage rates. This is just going to be a stat only thing. Or pick rate, sorry. I meant pick rate, not usage rate. Where's egg? Egg sack. That 46 or is it 30%? What is the number? Yeah, it's 30%. 30-something% pick rate because you either need masks, you either need polys, you either need Pee-wee veterans. I've seen people get away with like with Gargoyle / Green Devil. I'm not very good at that one. I also recently saw Mr. Desert Pilgrim kill it on 3 to a brute. Probably need to sandbox that one. That one was crazy. But I don't know. I think there's too many things that have to go right for an egg sack to really work out that well. If you can get it with like no negative stacks on it, it's amazing, you know? Even one negative stack is not awful. Like my egg sack today, my second one had one minus 20% or whatever. Kind of sucked, but it didn't kill me. Like it's still a great tank. It's a meat shield and it takes forever to kill. But I think it's B just because it's a really difficult unit. Just like, I know you can't see it, but the Gatling gun is sort of the same way. It's a high skill unit, can be like A tier, but you have to know how to use it. I want this so badly to be a B tier unit, but I think it just sucks. Like, don't get me wrong, the Samurai is great, right? Samurai is great on 9, even decent on 10. But Eternal Wanderer, I fall into that trap so many times, thinking that like this will be a solid impact DPS unit, and it just does me wrong. It's just not. It's not where I need it to be. Maybe if they made it like 4 seconds, because it's what, 5 seconds to come back or something. Give me like 10 seconds here. Sorry, 2 seconds. I was a bit over the top. So it takes 2 seconds for it to come back to life, right? If they could cut off like half a second, so then making it like 1.5 seconds, easily put that high B. But 2 seconds, early game, if this is your tank and you have some soft DPS, it's going to kill your DPS, right? Let's say you've got Sky Queen, right? Or even a Harpy, because it's really early in the game. You've got a Harpy DPSing, and you only have the tank of a Eternal Wanderer. Your Eternal Wanderer dies, they kill your Harpy before your stupid thing comes back to life. It's just... I'm glad I put it C tier. I feel good about it being C tier. Let's move on. Firelord. Used to use this a lot more. Not so much lately. Is it great with the butcher buff? Of course. Is it a decent 15 option? Of course. Has it saved some games for me on 13? Of course. I think it's high B tier. It is just so damn expensive. And I'm trying to think about it with other really expensive units. Is it as good as the other expensive units? Like a Hades. You got Hades, Boars, Gates. I think it's B. I don't like opening with it. See, I'm not a big fan of these T6 opens, unless they're unconventional, like a Boar or Gates. I've done it. I've opened with Boar on 2, and I've opened with Gates on 2. And I know it's unconventional, but I like that a little bit better than the other T6s. Yeah, I think all the T6s are just going to be B tier. Except for this piece of crap. I'll do that later. Hate that unit. Yep, Firelord B tier. It's only really useful like 15. You need full butcher, head chef, even like the Vamp Legion spell on it. It's just the way it is. You know what? No. I think Gargoyle has to be, well, higher than Berserker. Yeah, right there. I think Gargoyle needs to be high A tier. for sure. I think high A tier for Gargoyle is a fine placement. And the reason I don't have it at S tier is because you do need synergies with it. It is a great tank on 7 and 8. It's a great tank on 14 and 15. But that's all it is if you don't have the synergies with it, you know. It's a meat shield. But it can't be a monster meat shield without Mr. Desert Pilgrim. Whereas Desert Pilgrim can do work by itself. Desert Pilgrim can work with a lot of other units. Green Devil is just, it's amazing. I love opening with it. I think it's becoming one of my strongest opens, to be honest. Just pull out the numbers here. Yeah, Green Devil, 12 and 6. 18 opens with it recently, and I've been doing this one a lot. Yeah, see. One of my highest green things. My second highest opening performance is Green Devil. It's gonna make me put it at S tier here if I'm not careful. But I really think you need that synergy to make it a great unit. And I think S tier has to be a unit that is so good that it's fine by itself, that you don't need anything else to help it. And I think you need just a touch of help with Green Devil and Gargoyle. I just do. Gate Guard. It's got to be a C tier unit. It's just, you know, I'm about to put it at D tier, to be honest. You know what? D tier. And there's a couple of reasons for this. I don't like the unit. I just don't like it. Honestly, this is confusing. I really have a lot of trouble breaking gate guards on the other side. I can't break it. You know? I want to say I've broken it with like lizards before, but I really can't remember because I hate it. Every time I play gate guard steeds or even just mass gate guards, I get flustered. I can't beat it. It does fall off, you know. But me using it, I don't like using it. There's very rare opportunities that I'll use gate guard, even Harbinger. Even if I have the mana, I don't like it. I don't like the unit. I guess it's a decent opener. You know, you open with it, go to 5 workers, and even on a snail, you leak what, like 4 or 5 creeps now. So it's not terrible. I just don't like it. It probably should be like high C or low B tier, but I don't like Gate Guard, and I'm sticking with it. Mr. Buckler. I've been using this a lot. I think we got to go like mid B tier. Because the Royal Guard is just, it's got to be like top 3 units on Wave 9. One of the best units on Wave 6. Wave 6 and pretty much Wave 6 lately, I've been getting creamed, right? I've been just getting smashed on Wave 6. And I know, if I've got a Royal Guard down and a proper split, it's not going to be that bad. I'm not going to leak that bad. Even if I'm AoEing, the Royal Guard is going to save my life. And that's why I think it's a pretty decent unit. It is standalone. It's not a synergy, but it's also only a T2 unit. You know, it's only a tier 2 unit. Like, it's pretty cost efficient. There's no real upside. It's pretty good on 10. It's a great tank on 10. Sometimes if you get a really bad roll, you've got a tank. You got to use it as a tank for a long time. Would prefer not to, but sometimes you have to. I think it's a good average unit. Nothing great, nothing terrible. Mr. Grarl. A lot of people are going to make fun of me for this, but I'm putting Grarl at A. There's very few roles that I don't pick Grarl. I think I was looking a second ago, and I think it's one of my highest pick rates, right? I mean, it's up there. It's at 89%. Top 15 pick rate. Actually, more than top 15, because a lot of these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's my 6th most picked unit. My 6th most picked unit. And yes, the delicacy is amazing on just the Grarl. 130 gold. So you lose 15 gold when you sell it. It sucks that it's not usable with the King Claw and the Ocean Templar. But I like the Ocean Templar for Chieftain Cheese. So that's why I've got it so high. Also, you can do some crazy stuff with the Grarl, you know? Being able to sell that, you know? You use it on 6, and then you sell it before 7, get like a Green Devil. You sell it and get like a canopy off for 7 and 8. There's a lot of great things you can do with the Grarl. If you have to King Claw it, that sucks. King Claw is not good. You know, it's not very strong for its cost. But every once in a while you gotta do it. Ocean Templar, of course, is only good with certain synergies. Of course, I almost forgot. Gates and Ocean Templar. It's another reason why it's an A tier, you know? I think you have to pick Grarl almost every time. There's very few roles where you don't pick it. You know? And sometimes you pick it, instantly reroll, and then you see, okay, I didn't need it. Or you see that, oh my goodness, I've got Gates. I definitely needed to keep this Grarl. So I feel good about having it A tier. Boars. Now, I'm inclined to put Boars at C tiers. And I know this sounds crazy, but this is more so how other people use it. I've had many a teammate have Boars. One time, 6 red eyes, right? 6 red eyes. And his highest unit was like 6 tiles below the top. We went to Legion Lords. We lost the game. We would have won the game if he had literally moved 1 unit to the top. I'm not even kidding. It was that differential. 6 red eyes. That damage differentiation is insane. But I do have the egg sack here, which is, it's the same thing. So I think I have to put it B. Very good unit if you know how to use it. Of course, it's great on 9. Great on 11 and 12. It has endgame potential, which a lot of these units do not have. You spam boars towards the end of the game, you're going to be good. That AoE damage is crazy. That's why they've had to nerf it a couple times recently. But it's still super strong. But I think knowing how to use it is just so important. And not a lot of people do. But just because of purely how good it can be, I think B is fine. Sky Queen. I'm going to put that right next to Boar. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. Sky Queen, I like it as an opener. I've actually been opening with it a lot lately. I prefer to have Miss Sacred Steed right there. Have the mana boost going on. Got to place it at the back. I'm not as adept with the Sky Queen Star Caller circle, or Sky Queen APS circle, or Sky Queen Leviathan circle. I'm not great at those. I'm pretty good at all the other auras. I'm just not great at Sky Queen with it. But I think Sky Queen's good early on. You know, it's good DPS. Can tank early waves if you open with it, of course. And I like it on 10. It's probably one of my top 5 DPS units on 10. Yeah, because Sky Queen Doppel, Fatalizer, Daphne's, of course. Maybe it's number 4. Because I'd probably have Sky Queen above Zeus and above Radiant Halo. Yeah. Above Trinity too. I'm not a big fan. And Deep Coilers has lost my love. Flower. I wish there was like an in-between. Like, is there a way to put it in between A and S? Because that'd be nice. I know I can't. I like Flower Day. Very few rolls I can take Flower without other AoE. If it's a tough enough roll where I don't have a natural tank or I don't have a way to kill 9 or 11 and 12, I'll take it. I'll take Flower. Even without Aquas or Masks. I'll take Flower. I'll do it. I'm not scared to, okay? Death Cap is just unstoppable. And I love it as an opener. But just because I can't use it every roll, I don't think I can put it S tier. I mean, what are my numbers up to now with it? It should be getting up there. Honeyfly. Oh wow, it's only 50%. It's a 50% open for me, so it's not as great as it could be. Not as great as it could be. I'm just looking at all these numbers. That'll be actually like we'll do some homework at the end and look at that and see if we need to change anything. But I like Flower Day. I know it sounds crazy. I heard that some high ELO player actually like chose Flower, did select your fighter with Flower for quite a while. I don't blame him. It's a very good unit. It's crazy, I know. It's crazy how often I pick Infiltrator / Orchard. I like to call it Orchard. And it hurts me. And I think what hurts me about it is the shurikens that I always waste. I do. Too many times do I get bit because I buy the shurikens expecting a big send and I've wasted gold. And I think just me personally having that ability, it hurts me. It makes me worse off than if there was no option. If there was no option, I would probably be a touch better with the unit. Orchard's a decent tank on 6, which once again 6 is an issue for me. Sometimes I have to pick it for 15 because there's absolutely no other option. They don't give me any chance to kill 15 other than Orchard. And I hate having to do it. It's got to be the worst option to kill 15 that I have to use. Because I'm just thinking it through. Give me 1 second. 15. No, not DPS. 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. So yeah, I mean there's so many other options. I'd love to have Orchard for 15. And maybe I'm just using it wrong, but I mean if a roll doesn't give you magic damage, you've got to take this stupid Orchard. And I don't like it. But has to be done. Our Looter Pack Rat. Every now and then I'm really good with these, and every now and then I get mimicked with these and it's not pretty. And I think for that reason it's got to be a C tier just for me personally. Also, I don't use the treasure hunt, even though they boosted it. They boosted treasure hunt where you hide it and you now get 11 mythium, not 10. And even with that factor, I don't choose it. I don't pick it as a unit. the low cost is super efficient, but it falls off. Like, I think 6 is the only decent wave for it, other than like 2. I guess you could mass them on 10, but other than that, you're just wasting gold. It's probably the worst tier 1 unit. So actually, with that in mind, let me flip this real quick, because it should be behind Chain Fist. Yeah, I've got to think it's the worst tier 1 unit, in my opinion. It's eh. Like, maybe you have to grab it because it's your only tier 1 unit, and even sometimes I won't even grab it if I don't have a tier 1. If it is my only tier 1, I won't grab it. That's just how it goes. Definitely one of our better options for wave 15. I'm just gonna put everything in B tier, to be honest here. As much as I want, actually, let's have it above. As much as I want Lord of Death to be an A tier, and maybe I don't shift gold well enough, but late game, it's amazing. Very strong late game. Very, very strong late game. But early game, it just doesn't seem to have its uses for me. Very good unit going forward, but like early game, it just wastes a spot. It's one of those units where you hope you get it on a reroll. You know, you've picked a high pierce, high wave 10 roll. You have no way to clear 15, and you're just hoping and you're praying that you're gonna get Lord of Death on a reroll, and you get it, and you're super happy, and you use it well the rest of the game. But you didn't need it up until that reroll. Pretty easy unit to use. If you have steeds, it's decent. But the mana pool is just so large. You have to kill units to get the mana for it and the Hades. So even doing like a Disciple Circle, if I know the numbers here. 1 second. Yeah. Like 0.7 per second is not going to help. So I've done it wrong a lot recently, just because you get into the game and you forget. But having like a Starcaller Circle with Lords of Death and Hades around them doesn't really help at all. Because I think it takes like 100 mana or something, 80 mana to summon the okay, I went the wrong way. Having trouble finding this stupid unit. I guess I could have just used the actual game itself, but who does that? Here we go. Sorry. Oh, it doesn't tell me how much mana it costs. Darn it. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's like 80 and 100 mana. Whatever it is, it's a lot more than the 0.7 needed from a Starcaller Circle, or just the basic mana Circle Legion spell. It's a solid B unit. That's just, it is what it is. You know, I'd like it to be A tier, but it's hard to put down early. It just is. Masks. You guys knew I was going to do it. You know, I got to have all my AoE up here on A. I'm an AoE guy. You know, that's just how it is. I like my mask. I actually probably want them above Aqua's. Right there. Hellraiser open. I've done it a couple times. It's a little crazy. Not as useful as you'd think, but it's fun. Masks works well with Flower. Masks works well if you've Hydra'd and you have no way to clear 7 and 8. The Hellraisers have late game potential. Masks works well with Priestess. I mean, there's just so many good things to Masks. I'm gonna talk myself into an S tier here. It's also a low cost unit. but it is AoE, so I'm going to keep it just at A, because A stands for AoE. I really like masks. Yeah, I think that's all there is to it. The Millennium Doomsday Machine. A lot of the games I've had lately, I do really well with this. So this is going to be crazy, guys. I know, it's crazy. But I think it's earned some love for me. I use it sparingly. But I think it's my worst A unit. I don't like it. But 14 is such a damn important wave. 14, I wish there was some stats. I wonder if we could get this from the developers. Is there a way to know what wave do most games end? Because I've got to think 14 is like top 5. I mean, of course you'd expect like 17, 18, 19 to be very high. But I think pre-15, 14 has got to be 1 or 2. And with that in mind, I recently had a game where just putting a Millennium down with the white main aura lasted in the king race. If I don't put that Millennium down, we lose the king race. But because I had the Millennium, it was enough. It was enough to save the game. And it's decent on 15 because it can tank, as well as it has the AoE burst. I think it's okay. Once again, just like Lord of Death Hades, just like many of the other T6 units, it's not great until later on. But I just think 14 is really important, and it excels at wave 14. So that's why I have to put Millennium there at 14. It can tank. It has such a high health pool. I mean, if I can pull it up. Give me like 10 seconds here. $2,100 for Millennium. 5140 is what I've got here for Doomsday Machine. 5140. That is one of the highest health pool units in the game, which makes sense because it's a tier 6. But it's a DPS, and it's arcane, so it can literally tank 14 and 15 by itself. Amazing unit. I really don't use it as much as I should. I would have to assume the win rate's pretty high. Yeah, 57% on Doomsday Machine. Because if I use it, and it's very sparingly, it's 8 and 7. I've only used it a couple of times. But if I get there, it's pretty decent. How low is... Am I just missing the Millennium here? I don't even see Millennium here. In any case, I must have just missed it. There it is. 52% Millennium. So, 5% different. If you get that Doomsday Machine off, you're looking good. I like it at A. Low A. The worst A unit for sure. Just because of how long it takes to actually get it out. I've got to put Mudman right at C. It's where it belongs. And once again, I suck at hardening. I just do. I'm very bad at calling hardens. I've lost many a game because I harden them on the wrong wave, and then it gives the team the opportunity to kill me. It just does. It's a decent fortified tank. It's decent on 9. Late game golems are okay. They're like 16, 17, and I guess 19. It's been a while since I've had a late game like that. But I don't know. I think it's okay. As an opener, it's fine. I don't like doing it. Rarely will. I'd rather re-roll at that point than just open with a Mudman. Just think it's a marginal unit. It is cool that it hardens, but once again, if you know how to call the waves correctly, B tier, high B tier. If you harden like I do and cost yourself games, maybe it's D tier, because it sucks. Cat. Cat for me would have been B tier back in the day. But recently, it doesn't matter that it's an arcane tank. It does not matter that it's an arcane tank. It's just... It's got to be the crappiest arcane tank there is. Right? I'm trying to think. I mean, even... I feel like even a veteran is stronger than a cat. I mean, I know, like, health-wise, of course not. But, like, if you did the numbers, right? A veteran is 1,400 health, and it costs 115. A cat... Give me a second. I'm gonna find it. Yeah, there it is. The Nikomata. It's up to 2,700 health, right? I want to say it's 2,700 health at full, and it costs 360, right? No, sorry. Sorry, numbers were way off there. It costs 270. Correct. Costs 270, and its health is like 2,700. I really think just veterans would be better on like a cost basis. If you could have the cost be equal, I think the veterans are better. I know the cat is decent early on. I did do a couple cat openers, or if you do the stacks correctly, you know, 3 stacks and the 4 stacks, and things like that nature, it's okay. But I've been punishing cat lately. I don't play it, I punish it. And I think for that reason, I think it's you know? Like I've talked about how 14 I get punished, right? Sometimes. And somebody's going crazy outside. Flying on a motorcycle. I've talked about how 14 is a super punishable wave, right? Don't think of cat as a tank on 14. I don't care if it's a arcane tank, you're gonna get punished. It doesn't count. It is not a good tank on 14. It isn't a tank on 14. And you'll get punished if you look at your recommended value and you're right at value and you've got like 3 full cats, you're gonna leak. And because of that, I'm gonna skip ahead, and I think Pee-wee Vet has to be above. I think Pee-wee Vet has to be 1 above. Should be above cat, as it will be. I'm trying to only throw the ball a couple times here, guys. I'm sorry. I like Pee-wee Vet. I like it at B. When do I use the Pee-wee Vet? Of course on wave 3. I've really liked it recently as the cheap split unit with Priestess. I like it. This is the only time, though. You know how I've got the painful shurikens, the painful harden, the stem. I know there's a stem on Pee-wees and Vets. But if you call it correctly, I feel like it's better than these guys. I feel like Pee-wee, it's cheaper. It's not as costly. I just like Pee-wee at B. I know it's very debatable, since all 4 of these, you got Pee-wee, Infiltrator, Cat, and Mudman, could be interchangeable B and C. But I really like Veteran it. I like Veteran Pee-wee B. I just do. I don't like it enough. I was playing a game today where this guy had like 9 Pee-wees. He was like, what are you doing? Of course we punished him. It's just like, what are you doing? Nightmare Doppelganger. Easily A tier. We've talked about it with the Butcher. It's one of the top 2 to 3 units on wave 10. Also, it's probably the easiest combo in the game with Butcher. Yeah, I've got to say, if you get Butcher, Doppelganger, and you know how to use it correctly, you should almost always win that game. There's very few reasons that you should lose a game when you get a God roll with Doppelgang Butcher. Grab it, start the Doppel on the wall, transition to the Butcher. Your workers are going to be decent. Just get a split on the other side. It's so easy. I wouldn't put it like in the boar or the egg sack where it's difficult to use. Like, I think anybody, as long as you have the Doppel die last, or even the Nightmare die last, like, it's just so important. It's the DPS is insane. And then if you get a God roll with like Vamp as your Legion spell, just call game. Just type in GG. That's just all there is to it. It's a great unit, you know. You'll be wave 10 sending, and you know they have a Nightmare, and you know you're either gonna throw the game or win the game, whether or not they turn it into a Doppelganger or not. Had a game like that, you know. You're watching, you do your tab space. Is it a Doppel? It's not a Doppel, and you win the game. And then you do your tab space, and it is a Doppel, and you're screwed, because you've just wasted your entire 200, 300 send on wave 10. Really like the unit. Polys. I've seen some people use polys really well lately. Really annoying. I think it's a B tier. I like polys at B tier for sure. I do. I like it B tier. You do have to know how to use the switching back and forth between Seraphim, Devilfish. That's important. It can be used with Egg Sack to survive the Egg Sack. It's very strong on 3. Probably one of the best units on 3 other than Veteran or Willishroom. Although Willishroom maybe not the best wave 3 unit. I just like it. They do fall off though, of course. Back in my earlier days of playing Legion, which is like a month or 2 ago. But back to my earlier times of playing it, I would only have this as my magic damage for 15. It is not that good. It's a B tier, not an A tier. So if that is your only magic damage for 15, you are screwed. Make sure you know that. Good unit, early. I like the Devilfish's tanks. Honestly, I probably use Devilfish more than Seraphim. But just know the magic damage falls off heavily. Priestess. Definitely with the buff. Gotta have Priestess at S. I am a bit contradictory, since I have a couple like the Egg Sack, the Vulcan / Gatling gun that's not up here, other units that like you have to know how to place it and use it correctly. I have that a little bit lower, but I've really started to learn how to use the Priestess, and the Priestess / Azeria is really turning into one of my favorite units. And then watch it like have really low win score. I actually don't see it up here. How low is it? Azeria 50%, Priestess 49.4. But 53% when I open with her, which is what I've been doing a lot more lately. So, I think I'm probably closer to 60% recently with the Priestess open. And that's very helpful because I've learned positioning a lot better with her. Yeah, pretty much. And the buff helps. A lot of combos I like, once again, Priestess with masks, Priestess, even buzzes or peewees is fine. Just anything to get that split going. It's quite nice. And you just push so many workers with Priestess. It's amazing. I still remember one of the games I had with Dan Wolf, one of the high ELO players that I've played with. We did a custom game, first custom game against him. He got Priestess, which is like his favorite unit, it seems like. And I cannot believe that he did not select fighter. I was like, okay, he had to have select fighter, and he said he didn't. And it just blew my mind that your favorite unit gets just randomly picked. And it's just like, damn. That'd be like if I got Bone Warriors when we were playing these custom games. It's just crazy. And then, not to get on a soapbox, but then the next game he got Butcher, Butcher Nightmare, and it's like, come on, what is up with these rolls? But that's why these are so high. These are units, if you know how to use them, you kill it. It's tough to lose with. You're gonna be having great synergies going forward. Love Azeria, wave 15, wave 14, even late game, even 20. As long as you make sure she tanks early, just amazing. I'm almost inclined to put her a little higher than the Pilgrim. I'm thinking about it. But I think based on my win rate, I'm going to chill. I'm going to just keep her at 3 right now and not move her ahead. I'm going to put Adam at really low B tier. Adam Proton. I have not given the most respect to Adams. And I think that's just because I haven't known how to use them. And I'm sorry for that. To all you Adam Proton users, I apologize. And that is why I'm putting it at B. For me, it's probably closer to C if we go off pick rate. I can probably check that really quick. It's probably one of my lowest pick rate units. Gotta be top 10. Yeah. 25%. And that's probably top 6. I don't choose it very often. Not to say that it's not good. Actually, let me look. What was the number? Yeah, 53%, 50%. So it's decent. I'm okay with it. Not great, not terrible. Very few games do I choose it though. With Steeds, it's nice. Just don't have much to say about it. It's a good unit. But I wouldn't ever pick it without Steeds. Even if I don't have much DPS, I'd rather have tanky DPS. But it's a solid unit. There is the double Adam split you can open with. It's good on wave 1 and 2, I believe. If it's split correctly, which I did not do a couple of games ago. Well, like 15 games ago. But it's okay. This might be controversial, but I'm going to put Ranger Daphne as an A tier. It's top 2, top 3 best wave 10 killer. It just is. It shreds the boss. It does. You hide Daphne's and you get a massive send on 10, and then you just drop the Daphne, and you've just shredded this massive send. And it's just, nothing feels better. My buddy Voodoo was talking about that. I thought about putting the Daphne down on 8. He was like, no, save it for 10. And it worked. It was a good call. Got a send on 10, and you know what? The Daphne's killed it. Rangers do suck. But it's almost like Grarl. You know, just because one of the options sucks, I'm not going to devalue that unit. Daphne is amazing. You get 3 of them, and you're set. Reroll, get rid of it. But once you get the 3, because you need 3, If you don't have 3, you're not getting the full usage out of the unit. Just a great 10. I just love it on 10. And it's an opener too. If you want to open with Daphne, you can. It's decent. Steeds. Is Steeds a B or an A tier unit? I think it is the best B tier unit. And that is because you just can't pick it. I mean, you can. But you shouldn't pick it on your first roll if you don't have any synergy. You can greed it, and you pick it and then re-roll, and just hope you get a synergy. But if you choose Steeds, and you use Steeds early, and then it turns out on your re-roll that you have no synergies, you don't have Zeuses, you don't have Harpies, you don't have Halos, you don't have a Starcaller Disciple, you're just not getting any good usage out of it. I mean, it's a crappy tank. It's decent on 8. I mean, it's okay. Don't get me wrong. On 8, it's pretty decent. But the damage is not there. Its only usefulness is out of its mana ability. And so I just feel like if you don't have a mana unit, I guess Gates. I haven't used it with Gates very often. But I'm just trying to give you the options. You could even go like prehistoric with DP Steeds, you know, just for the heals. It's kind of risky. It's going to fall off as the game goes on. You could even Priestess Steed. Not great, but get more use out of her heal early. I can't put it at A because it shouldn't be used as standalone. It should not. Sand Badger, Iron Scale. It's a B tier. It just is. You know, there's nothing to it. Maybe right there next to the White Mane. Definitely save your ass on 14. Definitely save your ass on 7 and 8. 20 if you get there, you know, of course. But it's just a meat shield, and not the best, you know. It's not the best meat shield out there. It's an average unit at best. Pretty high cost. But it is a decent tank. So that's why I like it at B. You know, just right next to the old Antler White Mane. This is a tough one for me, guys. I'm struggling here, but I have to do it. I think I have to put Sea Serpent at C. I just do. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One is I pick Boar and Sea Serpent, and I think Sea Serpent is the worst of the two. Bad roll, I know. That's on me. Also, Sea Serpent and like Green Devil stuff, it messes with my head. So if I'm at Chieftain Cheese and I've got Sea Serpents, it just messes with me. You have to position everything so far back for the Deep Coiler snipe ability. And even on 10, it's not as good as I'd like it to be. Not as good as I'd like it to be. So for that reason, I have to put it C. And I feel like one thing that I used to believe was you never want to send lizards, you never want to send hermits, never want to send a shaman on the Deep Coilers. I don't believe that anymore. Especially on wave 10, sometimes you send those ranged units just to waste out the Deep Coiler's DPS, and it's worked pretty well for me. If I send like 3 or 4 lizards on 1 or 2 Deep Coilers, or like 1 Deep Coiler, 1 Sea Serpent, it's gonna waste their DPS. They're gonna leak their granddaddy. And I don't know, I just think the positioning is just so well required, you know? That was a tough one for me. That's probably one of my I don't like a lot of these, you know? Oh, even a lot of the B units I don't like. Sea Serpent Deep Coiler, I used to like, man. But it's really fallen off for me. High DPS or not, it gets sniped. A lot of the times, you have it positioned correctly, and then the units rotate back to attack it, even though you have tanks fighting. Another crazy one. Yes, you need synergies with Gates, but they're broken. Gates going long game is the best unit in the game. There's no question about it. If I had the option of Gates with a synergy versus Green Devil, Chieftain Cheese synergy, I'm taking Gates. They're broken. Because if you go that late and it's a king race, Gates win. It doesn't matter if you've got the stupid Chieftain Cheese. Gates, they're broken. Okay. I love Gates. But I think if any unit actually needs to be nerfed, it's Gates. They really do. It's the most broken unit in the game. Maybe they slow it down. Maybe they make the units that pop out a little weaker. But it's crazy. You've got Gates with the Protector aura could work. Gates with the Hero aura could work. Talking Legion spells. Gates with White Mane aura. Gates with Starcaller aura. Gates with Ocean Templar aura. It's just, when it's synergized, it's crazy. I'm not sure if it would work. I've never tried it. But even maybe a APS could work with Gates. Never tried it, so don't quote me on that one. But I'm just thinking it through right now. Could work. How much slack do I want to get for this? Don't like it. I don't like Tempest. I don't like Leviathan. Gotta be one of my fewest pick units. Yeah, right there it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My fifth least pick unit of all is Tempest Leviathan. And I think a big part of that is because I don't know how to like work the units around them. Because I feel like Sky Queen is the only unit I've really like worked with Leviathans. I just haven't done it well. Another flack thing I would say. Why are certain units not flying? Why is a Green Devil not flying but a Gargoyle is? Why are masks not flying? Are they not hovering? If you did that, I might put this at B, you know? It could be B tier. But the units that look like they're flying, I think Halos are another one too. Because Halos are not flying, right? Let me check real quick. But I want to say Halos are not flying either. Unless I'm a liar. And then I gotta use them more often. Yeah, long range unit with ramping damage. Let me just click on a flying unit real quick. Just to confirm. You guys are probably watching like, yes, we know they're not flying. Yeah, flying. Poliwag is flying, of course. So yeah, why are Radiant Halos? They're clearly hovering. You know? Why do those not count? Why do they not get the Leviathan buff? I don't get why those don't count as flying. That's my gripe. I think it's a crappy DPS. And I think the aura is crappy because certain units don't work with it, you know? That should. Like, how are half the flying units in the game not applicable to the very few Leviathan buffs? And yes, I know Leviathan Firelord is decent. I know. And I know, yes, you can double buff it. But I don't care. I don't like it. I don't think it works well. I just don't. We got Wargs here. Is Warg a B, a very low B, or a high C tier? I think it has to be B just because it does have possible synergies, like with itself and other units. A lioness circle can work with steeds, with canopies, and with violets. Right? Where's violet? Right there. So that is very useful. Of course, you can make the lion or the alpha male circle with 4 of them. Decent tank, the alpha male on 10. Decent DPS with the lioness if you get the full stacks. 11 and 12 it can cream. It can demolish, yeah. But it's only decent in my opinion. I feel like if you fall in love with that aura as your aura, you know, the main combo you want to chase after, I think you have a greater chance of losing that game. Another change up that I wouldn't have expected a while ago, and that's putting the Willis Room canopy a day. Hate to go back to wave 6, but I am in trouble on wave 6 many times. But not if I've got that canopy out there. A lot of the times you'll see wave 6 canopies win or lose games. And I've had it happen to me both ways. I've been on the side where I dropped the canopy and ate that 120. You know? I ate those double brutes. I ate that safety mole. But I've also been on the other side where my send, my safety mole, my double brutes gets eaten up by the canopy. So also, missed my mouse. Also, Desert Pilgrim with canopy early can be solid. You know, we know that. You got your arcane tank. Of course, we've talked about wave 14. Wave 14, you get some canopies off. It's pretty decent. You know, them being at half health sucks, but it can help. You know, it can be very useful to have some canopy. I kind of want to try canopy with Butcher, to be honest. I'm not saying it's viable, but it would be fun. Just to see if they can get above their 50% starting point health, you know, if they can. Yeah, decent unit. Early game, probably falls off after 15. Windhawk Violet. It's a C tier. I don't like it. I know you can get the Violet off early, and I know that that's good. But I think people fall in love with it. And people will leak so much, and if you snail on one, I know you're going to get that Violet off wave 2. I know. But that early gold just pays such dividends if done correctly. If done correctly. And they leak that Windhawk on wave 1, just like if you leak a Gate Guard wave 1. That's going to pay dividends. If done correctly, you should be able to punish that Windhawk, you know? Go for a big 7, a big 8. Could really do some damage, you know? Or, if you're like me, where you've gotten punished on wave 10, because you for some reason think that a Violet is just as strong as like a good tanky unit, you know? I have many times thought, yeah, Violet's going to be just as strong as like an Antler or a Royal Guard here, and it's not. I feel like it's not quite as good on wave 10. And I don't know. I never really liked the Windhawk open. And I don't see that changing at this point. Yozora Arc Terror. It used to be higher. It used to be A to B, and I'm really fighting to put it in B right now. I really am. The endgame performance of Yozora Arc Terrors is the best in the game. Wave 21, Yozora Arc Terror versus Gates, that's interesting. That is going to be quite the battle. But is it good enough early? I think it is. I think it's a high B tier unit. Now that I'm thinking about it. Just trying to think through the games I've played through lately. Opening with Yozora is quite decent. There's not a lot of weaknesses early. I've had Arc Tears save my ass on wave 13 on the big sends. It's okay on 10. Not as good as I once believed. But it's a decent unit. Not one of my favorite. You know, like if you see I have got way more tier 5, tier 5, tier 5. Or actually that's tier 4 I think. Tier 5 above the Yozora. It's just, I don't know. It's just to me. It's rightfully above the Badger. But it's not that great. APS, MPS, it's C or D for me. I suck with it, and I don't like it. But I think just because I know it can be good, I will put it C. If you Zeus it, I mean, if you get a god roll, you know, that circle, and then you get the mana power-up spell, the mana legion spell, could be tasty. Maybe you double up a Doppelganger with all 3 buffs. You get, or actually all 4 might be possible. But then you'd have to have it off the side. So you're probably only getting 3 buffs on it. But yeah, you get the Butcher, Head Chef, and then an MPS buff. Could be really solid with your Doppelganger. And I think that's why I've got it for C. There are a couple synergies that could work. But I just think for the cost, and even wasting a slot on it, just not a fan. Not a fan one bit. This is another crazy one. I don't like the Archer, but I also feel like the Archer being below some of my B tier units would make me feel bad. Would make me feel like I've lied. But I'm yet to make my final changes. So I think the Archer has to be B. I don't want it to, but I think the Archer has to be a B tier unit. I think it's average. Trinity Archer on 10 is not as overpowered as I've thought and I've been told, which sucks because I mean that's like what, 400 gold? 400 gold and it's meh. I don't think it's the end all be all. 11 and 12, that's good, you know, decent. And if you get a Trinity on 7 or 8, that's awesome. You know, definitely save some people's asses. I want it to be C, but it's not. It just isn't a C tier unit. The AoE effect of it sucks though, because you can get RNG'd up the butt. And I don't like anything that has, well, I don't like anything that has RNG, and then I've got all these AoEs up there. But I think that's all I've got to say about the Archer. I guess it's decent on 14, you know, the power wave. So, I guess it's earned its spot at B. Halo, gotta be A for me. It's one of my saving graces on 10, just like all these other. Good on 10, good on 10, good on 10, good on 10, good on 10. I like a lot of my A tier units are good on 10, and that's just the way I see it. Sorry, Sky Queen. Halo, of course, has the same arc tier ability, being really strong late game. I will also grab Halos if I don't have a wave 15 killer. Works just as well. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Just trying to think it through. Oh yeah, once again, hate to go back to it, but please, if any dev watches this, just think about it. Isn't a Halo sort of hovering? Shouldn't it have the Leviathan buff? Wouldn't that be nice? I think that'd be nice. But and my F tier unit, right there. I hate the Holy Avenger. I suck with it. You think it might be the last time I ever play with that unit. Right there. Very low. Very low usage rate. Very low win rate. I'm not good with it. I'm actually worse with a Sovereign than I am a Holy Avenger. How crazy is that? Like, badly. Like, a 5% differential when I upgrade it. That is not good. It's and it just got the debuff. I know. I know it can be decent with the head chef and the butcher buff. And then if you have the vamp buff. But there's just so many things that have to go right for it to work. And it's just like, it doesn't always work. Getting that mana off it's too close. I don't know how to use it correctly. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Let's just check our work here. If you want to stay, stay. If not, I hope you enjoyed this video. Just looking at our best win rate units. We had Gargoyle at A, so Ocean Templar up there is good. We have Vulcan at B, or Gatlin B. But I really like Gatlin and Vulcan at B, just because it's so hard to use. And it's still being figured out. Aqua at A makes sense. Oathbreaker being that high is going to make me change some stuff up. I hate to do it, but I have to move it up. Especially since Oathbreaker got the stupid buff. Or got the, yeah, they got the buff recently where it can't leak. It really can't leak Wave 1 Snail. One of my good followers, my good subs, Slick Rounder, has checked. Done 20 tests on Oathbreaker 1 with Snail. And it leaks 1 out of 20 times. So it's just... It's not going to leak. So I guess just as an opener, 4 or 5 workers, it is solid. Just numbers based, I have to. I have to put it up there. At least a B. Golem, pretty high. I did not expect Golem to be 20 and 14. My 5th best unit. When I have Mudmen down at C. With that in mind, I don't care. Oathbreaker, I'll make the change. I like Mudmen down there. I'm not changing my mind. Golem or not, you're staying down there. You're staying. Everything else seems to make sense here. I'm not seeing any other crazy changes. I guess 54% on the Trinity Archer. But I made it a B, so. See, there's my Pyro. 7 and 6. I've very rarely used it. But I think everything here looks pretty solid. Opener's pretty solid. You know, I'm gonna make fun of the Butcher this video. Even Mudman right there at 8 and 5. I make fun of the Butcher open, and then I'm just gonna start using it all the time. But hope you guys enjoyed this. Please have a discussion in the comments. I know this is a crazy one. Hope I didn't piss you guys off too much with a lot of this. But these are my personal opinions, you know. I know a lot of these units should be higher. But this is just my thoughts. And of course I know a lot of these units should be lower on a more realistic slate. But this is my tier list for patch 8.06.1. Maybe I'll make a big update in the future if the units change a lot. Also, as I get to know them better and better. Other than that, see you guys in the next video.